Ponyfans.com here with SMU defensive coordinator Tom Mason. A few weeks ago, June Jones and a couple of the offensive coaches said they were understandably a little nervous getting ready to face TCU's defense. Is this your week to lose a little sleep when you're looking at the Tulsa offense?
Well, yeah, they're eighth in the country right now. I think it's 5-17 a game, and they do everything. They got good skilled athletes. They got a good quarterback, and they cause you some serious problems, especially when you got 2 or 3 days to prepare for them. If you had a couple of weeks, it wouldn't be that big a deal, but 2 or 3 days, we got to get ready to go.
You mentioned their quarterback. Last year, you forced G.J. Kinney into a game the likes of which he's never played in his life. He goes 2 for 10 yards total passing and 2 interceptions before you knock him out of the game. How were you able to force him into that kind of day with mistakes and I guess the pressure you put on him?
Well, I think, we got to him early with fire zones, got a couple hits on him, got him out of rhythm, and somebody said he had a concussion during the game. I don't know when that occurred or if it did occur, but getting after any passing teams to get that quarterback knocked down, and that's what we got to do this week.
Last year, I guess the fans who made the drive up to Tulsa, or even those sitting at home watching it on TV, obviously didn't see the real G.J. Kinney because he struggled against SMU last year, but the numbers he puts up on a week-to-week basis are pretty extraordinary. When he's healthy and when he's playing well, who does he remind you of?
He's a lot like the kid at Houston that just got hurt. I think he's that caliber quarterback. He can beat you with his arm. He can beat you with his feet. The offense is set up for him to be successful, and he's throwing for a lot of yards, so he's a handful. And anytime you got a dual-threat quarterback, that's a real struggle for the defense because you can't just shut down one phase, whether it be pass and run. And when you got a dual threat, you got to shut both of them down.
You mentioned the dual threat aspect of his game. Last year he had a game, I think, against Houston where he threw for over 300 and ran for over 100. What is your approach to trying to contain that? I mean, you mentioned get him on the ground and knock him down early, but how do you try to contain overall a guy with that much ability on both sides?
Well, it's the same thing. The quarterback's the general of the team, and if you can knock the general down, then you got a chance. And obviously our game plan is going to go in and not let him get in the comfort zone. We're going to pressure him. We're going to try to sack him. When he's carrying the ball, we're going to get hits on him, and we just got to get after him.
You mentioned knocking him down, trying to get him out of the game a little bit. If he does go down, their backup, as good a runner as Kinney is, their backup, Shavadrick Beaver, might be even better. Do you expect to see both of them on Saturday?
Oh, I'm sure. Beaver's a kid that was highly recruited out of high school. I think he was out of Wichita Falls. Really a great athlete. I think he was going to Michigan until he switched his commitment. And it's Conference USA. You're going to see these guys every week, and that's the way it is. And, get ready for it and play and see what happens.
Talking to you last year going into the Tulsa game, I remember you saying something about how Tulsa throws as many formations at you as anyone and as many different looks. How complicated are they, and how many different things do they run out of all those formations, or is that mostly disguised to try to confuse your defense?
There's a lot of formations to run, maybe 6 or 8 run plays, and they're passing the screen game. There's a lot of that comes out of a lot of different formations, but it's more what I call smoke and mirrors. They try to get your eyes wrong, get you thinking, and then all of a sudden big plays happen on you. And the key to playing these guys is get lined up and then play hard, and that's what you got to do. They remind me a lot of Boise State.
How do you simulate that in practice? A team that has that many formations, you've got scout team players who study the opponent every week, but that's a lot to digest for them. How do you create that look in practice for your team to work against?
Well, I draw a lot of cards every night, and you really can't. I mean, you got 2 hard practice days to get ready for them. You hope that your scheme's set up that it can handle all the different formations by counting down and try not to get your kids confused. Simplify your game plan. Don't do anything that is really going to screw you up, and that's the whole key of the game. Be sound, be simple, and let the kids play.
Tulsa is not an offense that relies on one receiver. They've got 3 guys with over 2,000 career receiving yards: Damaris Johnson, Trey Johnson, and Charles Clay. What's your biggest concern on the back end with your secondary covering these guys?
Well, you got to mix up a lot of coverages. Don't let the quarterback get comfortable. And these guys, they got big play threats to all 3 of those receivers. So you're not going to overload one guy or double cover one guy to take him out of the game. You just got to You got to play base coverages and zones and tackle them when they catch the ball. The biggest key on these guys is don't let them get chunk yards on you. You know, hold them to 5, 8, 7-yard gains, whatever, and just don't give up the big play on them. The big plays are the ones that kill you.
Their running game seems pretty balanced. Their leading rusher is Alex Singleton, and he's actually listed as third on their depth chart. What concerns you the most about their running game, and how do they use that in order to try to set up their pass?
Well, what it is, it's multiple formations. They're going to give you a lot of motion to get your eyes wrong, and then they're going to run about 6 base run plays out of it, but every play's got a quarterback run element with it, and it's got an option element with it, so you got to defend all 3 phases of it, and you got to be sound football. It's like playing any type of option. You got to have a guy on the dive, a guy on the quarterback, and a guy on the pitch, and so it simplifies what you can do defensively, and your kid's got to execute it. You make one mistake, it could go 60 on you.
Against an offense like this, do you take more of a bend but don't break approach, maybe more than any other week in the season?
I don't think so. I mean, that's a mistake you make. You do what you do, and that's what we do. We're gonna blitz them. We're gonna get after them, and if you change your defense for an offense, you're not going to be successful. I've learned that a long time ago. Do what you do and keep it simple and let the kids execute.